Ya, assalamu alaikum badimolo ngamobe kontan wato nal kontan wala alnal badem mala Suleiman Cham na konkujan UDP Political Bureau YouTube channel momobe follow kan sen like ya subscribe ya share bi alhamdulillah ngamin sadare wala mon na right party leader right honorable Usainu Darboe na party leader United Democratic Party ala kumakando to ana yamaroto bankoe anen party en selame Usainu Darboe na ala kuma kongoto abimenti kan banko demola ane YouTube kolla ba falale assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Alhaji Usainu, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Peter, for hosting me.
It's not been a particularly happy month for you with the tragic loss at the beginning of this month of your daughter Fatu. We've already conveyed our sympathy and condolences, but allow me to renew them this morning and also pray that her soul be received in the highest heavens and the family be granted the fortitude to bear this great loss. Now, you suffered at the hands of the country's former dictator, Jammeh. You feel you were robbed at the last presidential election, and recently you were mocked by your new nemesis, President Barrow. Yet, Lawyer Darboe keeps going. What makes Lawyer Darboe tick?
It's the belief in my convictions that what made me take on Jammeh still exists. So I should really not relent until I really achieve what I've always believed that this country deserves. So that is what keeps me going on.
Mm-hmm. In his defense, you could say, well, Jammeh killed, I haven't killed yet.
Yeah, Jammeh killed, I have not killed yet, but he really threatened to put this country into chaos.
Mm. I'm sure we'll get into detail. Now, every year, the President Barrow, makes a State of the Nation address in Parliament, in which, so far, he has only painted rosy pictures of the country. What would you say is the state of the Gambia today?
Well, the state of the Gambia today is really one of misery. Is really in a terrible economic situation. It's certainly a country where we just pay lip services to things that we wish for our country. We do not really give a proper picture of what is happening in the country. And I believe it behoves any leader, really, when addressing an institution like the National Assembly, to give them the actual situation. You just don't paint a picture of you that is rosy, that is glowing. Give the other side of the picture too, so that those people that are engaged in the National Assembly can also participate meaningfully in the discussions and deliberations of what you have brought before them. Mm-hmm. But you shouldn't just pick on what is good and leave out what is bad. Mm-hmm. I mean, what I find singularly absent from the president's addresses, whether it's in National Assembly or other gatherings, is his reference to the issue of corruption. He avoids it like plague. And I think that is an issue that is eating into the fabric of our society. Mm-hmm. And any leader should really address it and acknowledge that, look, it exists, and let us all get together and work hard in order to reduce it. You may not be able to eliminate it, but let us work hard so that we can reduce it. Mm-hmm.
His information minister, the new information minister, Dr. Ismail Cisse, while acknowledging that poverty is on the rise, refutes claims that corruption is contributing to deepening poverty in this country.
Well, with respect to my nephew, the Honorable Minister, that is his view. But again, views change. Maybe a few months ago, that was not his view. So really, and of course, you can defend government positions, but also acknowledge things and say, look, we acknowledge this, of course, but these are the efforts that government is doing to ameliorate the situation. You can't deny the fact that corruption is causing havoc in this country. Where resources are supposed to be applied, they are not so applied. And then the ordinary people are deprived of what they are entitled to. So we should just own up things and then offer, not necessarily apology, but a commitment to the nation that as a responsible government, we will look into it and address the situation. We are alive to because it affects the ordinary citizens. It also affects us because the possibility of us getting a new mandate depends on how much we do for the ordinary citizens of this country. So it affects us politically. It affects even our own family members. So we really should address this and be a little bit more altruistic, a little bit more honest to ourselves.
The effort to, combat poverty, it would seem, is centered in the office of the Vice President, because recently there was a press release that $8 million was distributed to vulnerable families, and the coordination was in his office. Was this the case when you were Vice President? Because you have been Vice President before.
Yes, I've been Vice President for a few months. Let me say that when I was Vice President, the Women Entrepreneurs Fund, I pushed for it, because that time, if we didn't have it, in that budget year, we are going to lose it to next year, and I had to put enormous pressure on Mambure Njai to make available
the former finance
minister to make available the counterpart funding. And I was happy that Mambure really cooperated and made sure that the counterpart funds were available. And I thought that really the women of the Gambia deserve more. But if they can start with this, I think that was really good. So certainly, yes, we did that. And the social protection also scheme, it started when I was there. And certainly, we think that these were geared towards ameliorating the problems, and the horrible situation of the ordinary people in the country. Yeah.
Before being Vice President, you were the first foreign minister in a new Barrow administration. Looking at what is happening now, at our embassies around the world, how do you feel? First you had the United States, then Cuba, now we're hearing Mauritania, we're equally hearing Saudi Arabia.
Well, I think it depends largely on the selection of the individuals. I made recommendations to the President for appointments of ambassadors, and thank God, I think the people I recommended really deserve the position. Who can compare the current ambassadors to Chill Blaine, an accomplished and a consummate diplomat? Ibrahim Ndur, Ibu Mane, Bunjak, he was Permanent Secretary, Foreign Affairs. Ahmad Tal, he was Permanent Secretary, Local Government. And Juara, he was ambassador at one time in the Jamia regime. So we selected people that we thought were men of quality, men who would really represent us properly in any international forum. And I'm happy that none of the people that I selected, I in fact recommended, I'm happy that none of them have fallen into this. The gentleman in the United States, I think the deputy ambassador, honestly, Peter, I tell you, I cannot tell you whether he's tall or he's short. I cannot tell you whether he's fair in complexion or he's black. I do not know him. I just know the name Sauce. I don't even collect the first name. He was selected. On some other criteria. Not certainly on ours, but for us, as foreign minister, then I think people of those level should be career diplomats. I do not believe that you just pick up politicians and put them in those positions.
Or ex-military officers.
Or ex-military officers. In fact, I do not believe that the Minister of Foreign Affairs should be a dumping ground for the unwanted people.
Is that what you think? The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has become a dumping ground?
In fact, it has become a dumping ground for really people that are not wanted. May God have mercy on him, Mr. Dauda Fadera. There was an issue with one of the staff of one particular embassy, and I wrote a very strong letter to the Secretary General, which of course in response to certain issues, and he said, Honorable, no, this language is too strong, let's soften it. But I was saying that, look, when decisions are taken, decisions will be taken. You don't take a decision today and tomorrow you rescind it because of some pressures, because of some influences. I don't think that's a proper way of running government. But he said, look, Honorable Minister, you are right, but then this is not the language you should use. But of course, maybe I was being loyally that you just say how it should be said.
You said in answering the opening or second question that the National Assembly should not just accept the President telling them what he chooses to tell them. Don't they have the responsibility to summon him back to ask, the uncomfortable questions, especially on corruption, as you point out?
Well, yes, they have, but the President has the option not to attend.
He has that option.
Yes, he can't delegate the Vice President. In fact, the Constitution so provides that matters that relate to the presidency and when there is need for him to answer any question, the Vice President should do so. And I think it happened in the last legislature. There was a demand for the President to appear and address certain issues. And I think the Vice President, Dr. Issa Toure, made the appearance, and it's proper, it's constitutional. And but then if the President wishes to do so, and I think it will be a good practice, so that you interact with the legislature. I think it will be a good practice. The only caveat I would have is that when he so appears, members of the National Assembly should know that he is the President of the country, he is the head of state, and he should be given the utmost respect in the way he is addressed, what type of language is directed at him. That's the only caveat. Otherwise, I think it will be a good practice.
Well, he's been out and about, touring the country and making declarations, some of them directed at you personally, others directed at your party and possibly supporters. Let's listen to 3 clips that I played to the Information Minister on Tuesday, and he gave us his own interpretation of what the President meant. It would be interesting to hear your interpretation of the same audio clips.
ni kira politicien o foy hañi de
mu ne soo nekkee politicien foog nga ñeme
politicien do diamata jang
mu ne am na politicien bu fi wax
ako nga politicien on me alon ko man so na do kulal me alon ko
mu ne politicien ni fi wax mu ne
ikan na do ko le saboté ikan oppose ako ñante baylale
mu ne dañ leen war a dàq
ako dol kan nendi rol ke
mu ne ñeneen ñi saaga
ñanta wulale nga lo wol beto
dama war a taxaw ci loolu
mba falale ko
man ko tontu
na man sakunda kono
ci suma
ni sobita momola me ala be sportage wala murul la koma be bayla lay na yasada bari sa ko NPP ngole ko
waaye ma xamal waa NPP ne
Almanya na silan na de
mu ne bu leen ragal dara
altello man sati de
yéenay nguur gi
altello man sakundari de
yéen a amee nguur gi
président Barrow tan ñimbe keno la le de
Barrow lu mën a def nii yëpp
ni moome yal nani al toña e loi tiña
ma ne koo xam ne ni tooñ na leen bu
al lo faale bamba ale kelo ke mbal ko ma mudu ko la
There have been several interpretations of that. What's Alhaji Ousainou Darboe's interpretation of what we just heard from the President?
Well, let me just have this preamble to read. I am embarrassed. I am disappointed that the President of my country can go about and utter such statements. I get more embarrassed because, our neighbors, Senegal,
yes.
They hear these things, they understand the language thoroughly. Oh my God, that's how you Gambians speak? This is the type of president you have? I find that extremely embarrassing. And I want to bury my head in the sand. But, in the first place, what we have fought against in the Jammeh era is what is being repeated. That civil servants who do not support him, and that means civil servants who do not belong to his party. The general order grants every civil servant the right to belong to any political party of his choice. What the general order prevents is for civil servants to go and making political statements and join in demonstrations in political organizations. Otherwise, they are free to belong to any political party. does Mr. Jammeh, does Mr. Barrow expect that my brother or my sister in the civil service will support him? Does he expect that? But in the Jammeh era, this was what was happening. What I find disappointing is that the man who has been entrusted with the responsibility of ensuring that there is stability in this country, that citizens are law-abiding, that no citizen will resort to self-help, will just invoke the law in support of whatever you want to do, can ask his people, stand up and fight. I think he is preparing the ground for a violent election period.
Oh.
I think that's the ground he is preparing for. After all, if I say itamumo kuntambaliti, you think that's an insult. And then you stand up to fight. And I hear the Honorable Minister saying that, no, what he's saying that, that you should go to the law. That's not correct. Anyone who understands Mandinka will really know that. Allo alekelo. Malkoma. He's really saying that, look, fight on. Go on, fight. You have my support. I am the president of this country. He had said that the police, he owns the police. He said he owns the army. He owns everything in this country. Infatuated. And that is this level that Jammeh got into. That state of infatuation. And it's the same thing with him. And I think it is really a horrible thing. And let me also add that even if the twisting they want to do, with all their verbal gymnastics, if you say, I'm behind you, and as the minister says that, no, that the law would be on your side, I'm saying that the president is saying that you do whatever you want to do. If you go to the law, I am there. I will tell the magistrates and judges to do what I want them to do.
Can he do that?
But I'm saying that is what he's saying.
Yeah. But in legal terms, can he do that?
Well, he shouldn't do it.
Okay. All right. Let's listen to another one. I mean, in fact, this, I think, generated more controversy than the one we just heard.
Contractor me bunyin law. Mbari ma Sehu Barrow. Nyine mala biro sama nyamote ay men law. Mba tentula baake mba jayila baake. Because ay biro men law ni momo futata jam. E balon na kafa ko londri kenna wala londi ado ay ngani yo do ko ay wala kiji. Amno fen na la jam fanan. Abe lala nyina ko na patio serious parti lom de la parti. Ndel manke o bana parti o tide. Nga dol jele biro do loro dula do. Ni ajube kamera nar bi di gol. Bari na fo mo lele de. Amiro nyaawo nya naro le bela man naje. Bari yin bumo. Yin nar bi di ko mangi kilindi de. Ya lumo lola le koy ba yella. On the 11th of May koy ba yella wonna. 11 May la ko umbi. Bari ya ba yella folo bi do naro mo le kere folo. Ngame na kibaro le mo ko batu folo ngate ko folo. Ya ni dara ko mola. Ni dara ko mola. Nyendi wol ka firfir le folo. Bar nim ba mol fundira. Nyendi wol ka temkulde. Ya ne president Barrow wultale. Abida lobdano yella. Abida lo biro yella. Iko baru folo del ngate ko folo. Wala kendi be tenkundi. Bar nyimbe mu kayron. Gambia de tano la nyato. Nata man kayro so.
What do you think he means by Bana party, and could he have been referring to the UDP?
Of course, we know that he's referring to UDP. And before I really address that, I wouldn't say I'm offended, but I think it's very inconsiderate of him to have said that we postponed the inauguration of our bureau because he was going out. I mean, the people of Kiang could have gone on with it. When they deferred to me, I had lost my daughter on the 6th. of May, I lost my daughter. And this bureau opening was scheduled for the 11th of May. And Gambians being what we are, and the United Democratic Party membership, with that great deference for me, and being in sympathy and grieving with me, said that, we should postpone this until after the burial of your daughter, and when in fact, your grief would have reduced. And that's very human. But then he really, you can see the level of his maturity, and he knew that I had lost my daughter because he sent a delegation there. Oh. Yeah, of course. He sent Sidin Jai there. So for him to go out and make such a statement just exposes, the level of his maturity. And also...
Is that high or low?
It's low.
Oh.
It's low. That was exposed. Because he knows that, in such a situation, no sane person will really go ahead with such an event, drumming and so forth, when your daughter has not even been buried. Yeah. But, you see, the Bana Bana party is what made him what he is today. If he'd write UDP as a Bana Bana party, he has forgotten the days when he sits with me the last Sunday of every month in a pipeline over lunch. That Bana Bana party is what made him what he is today. But it doesn't surprise me that, of course, people who are like the Bourbon kings, they never learn anything, they never forget anything. If he only, reflected on his journey from deputy party treasurer to the presidency, he would never call UDP a Bana Bana party. And of course,
the NAR reference.
But let me just, because you said that I hear that he's paying tribute to somebody, Sekou Barrow, who had built this... the
NBR Bureau.
The NBR Bureau, I don't know. But you see, in 2017, there are suggestions for UDP bureaus to be built. You're going to find funding for it. I said, fine. But I want to know the source of the funding. Because I don't want to get my party involved with people who are involved in illicit activities, probably cleaning their money, or doing things to find favors with the government. And I said, well, I certainly want to know those who will be funding the construction of these bureaus. And I was never told. But nonetheless, the UDP decided that it will go on erecting bureaus. In fact, we have erected. A few years ago, we started building our main bureau in Soma. It's a story building, and this is funded by the ordinary members of the United Democratic Party. No businessman has put a dime in that building. All our bureaus, no businessman has put a dime in any of those things. We know that business people invest in political parties, and they do so with the hope of reaping the benefits of their investment. They are looking for contracts, for other favors, for being accredited as ambassadors at large, for being accredited as goodwill ambassadors. With that document, together with a diplomatic passport, you go about doing your own business, sometimes really getting privileges in other countries that ordinarily you wouldn't have had. And they are mainly business people who are given this kind of accreditations. So we are happy that we are an art shop, but an art shop that is constructed with clean money. An art shop that really is, is constructed by people whose only intention or whose only reason for investing in that is to ensure that in that NAR shop, people can sit there and discuss the affairs of this country in a very constructive way and chart the way for this country, chart a better way for this country. Not a luxurious building where people go and sit down and start hatching out deals. How do you destroy Peter Gomez so that you can have his position? No, that is not the luxurious buildings that we want to build. And I tell you that these buildings that have been called state-of-the-art bureaus, you'll see them being misused. And very soon, you will hear quarrels about the misuse of the places because they will not be used for the purpose for which they are. But I think President Adama Barrow should really behave presidential. You know, that NAR thing, that the bureaus will end up being owned by the NAR. Of course, that's direct reference to Talib. I know they already have started calling boy NAR. Oh yes. In fact, there's a clip, someone in one of their officials in Central River region went there for a football tournament. This gentleman was so pissed off for the absence of the NPP officials. And they were just going, boy Narbi, boy Jelsi Reumi, boy Narbi. So that's reference to Talib. And I think it is demeaning. You shouldn't be making references to persons' racial background. In 21st century Gambia, I mean, he's a Gambian. Probably more Gambian than Mr. Barrow. Probably. I don't know, but probably. At least we know on his father's lineage, I mean, descendants of the Al-Mami Jawara family, who can be more Gambian than those people. Really, so if his father or grandfather comes from Morocco, should that really be an issue in this country at this stage?
No, it shouldn't.
And then of course, what he's trying to put in the minds of the people that look, UDP leadership is going to this NAR boy. And this is one thing that the NPP is constantly drumming out in the ears of people.
Why would they want to do that? To split the party?
Because they think by doing that way, they can bring in confusion, division within the party, and they will fail. Certainly will fail. But what I just want to say is that, Mr. President, I think you should really be mindful of your utterances. That when you go out, know that you are not your Adama Barrow, the real estate agent yesterday, the rent collector of yesterday. You are Adama Barrow, President of the Republic of the Gambia. And whatever you say, whether jokes or whatever, should be inspiring. Young people. So really, when you say that, young people say, oh yes, look, I really want to be like Adama Barrow. Can you see what he's saying? But you don't make a statement and then, some primary reporter said, hey, Mr. President, we don't expect this of you.
It's good to hear you defend Talib in this conversation, but should the UDP not have issued a statement condemning the remark rather than leave it to Talib to take on the president? Indeed, as the Minister of Information said, I never thought I would agree with him on anything. Talib and Adama Barrow are not in the same league. Talib is not the leader of a party. Talib is not the president of a country. You're the leader of the party. You could have got the party, the UDP, to respond to the president as head of the NPP.
Let me tell you that, we found the statement so puerile.
Childish.
So I didn't think that I should respond to it. We leave it people of the same mental. Not even Talib should even have responded to that. I would have left some other person lower than Talib in the rank for a party to respond to that. Yes, because if you as president, you reach yourself to that level, we get somebody much lower than Talib
Haji Suwane would have loved to respond.
Yeah, Haji Suwane, but Haji Suwane would have loved to respond to it, but I wouldn't even ask Haji Suwane to respond to it. I would have asked somebody like Karamanjai just to do that. Because if you reduce yourself to that level, we bring people, of that level to you.
Okay. Let's hear the final clip, and this remark was aimed at you.
Amamme bake ngam fama ma be diamula ako Gambia keta fail state ledi ako because ferio man soto oto nyomi ngolni bari ngol wol nyanta fala president Barrow bari ngafo fama e ko ngalo ne akebaro le sai ngamo ala netwo ko nyi sai ngabuka ata bake ni woto ferio do na pano ni te ko Gambia fail tele because of ferio Gambia dafa fail ni feri mu ban Allahu akbar bari safa ko waye ñu wax ko ne nga ferio wulindi le de e ka fi feri bi de wot mo ferio aka wala ka silo ka mo feri wan awala dan am say ko 16 minutes aka wala ke ay cross ay budanari anu be feri do fana dala kan de ñil be mu machine ko don men posé la de manda woto a ko mo ñen jiso bondile nga feri kutas fula fana naati dol fana naati kam neala ko fana be kala solali amna yeneen ñaari feri yu bekk ñoo indi yu nekk solal ibe kala solal ti de solal tangori ndox asike feri naaniti but withdraw.
Are you ready to withdraw your statement?
I think he knew that he was making that statement, but he knows that I will never withdraw that statement. But Peter, again, President Barrow, really, I think his utter statements without really knowing what the repercussions or what the meanings are. But first, let me say that when he says that my network
is gone.
He doesn't even have a network. at least I have network that failed, but he doesn't have network at all. So that is why he's making such utterances. If he did, he would certainly not be making such utterances. But I'm happy that because of those utterances I made, he got angry because I couldn't comfort her. He got angry and got two ferries. So I'm going to make more of these statements so that he can get annoyed and do the right thing. Maybe if I didn't make that statement, they wouldn't. I don't even know whether it's true because I want to see it. But if it's true, then my statement must have spoiled them.
You can't remember making a statement to the effect that the Gambia is a failed state because we couldn't even provide a working ferry.
No, but certainly, even I can't remember. But even if I did, I'm right. A whole month, the whole of North Bank region, completely cut off from the rest, from the capital city. People from Kanuma have either to use these small canoes, or those who are driving have to go right Trans-Gambia continent. That happening in any country, and you think that country is a serious country, and you tell me yes, you pay civil servants. You tell me pay. All these are signs of that is a sign of a failed state. And these things just didn't happen, just like that. We saw it coming. So the preventative measures should have been taken so that we do not find ourselves in that situation. You're talking of engines. You know that these ferries, we are running on all engines. You should really have taken the necessary measures to ensure that you have the engines in place so that if they say, in fact, you don't even have to wait for them to really grind down before you change them. You should change them to avoid the ferries being grounded. So I think he was talking with his tongue in his cheeks when he said he should apologize. I don't think he's serious about that. But President Barrow should really face the country and really do the serious and do the needful. Going out there and making this scornful statements is not what is carrying this country forward. In fact, it's what is causing further polarization in this country. You can't treat me with scorn and contempt, and then you expect that you'll have a man handshakes with me. Not at all. Not at all.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, in making this statement also, he made reference to your age, and issues have been made about your age going into the 2026 election. Why do you think your age is causing such concern for some?
Well, it's not my age that is causing them concern. It is Usainu Darboe, the personality of Usainu Darboe. It's not my age.
Why is the personality of Usainu Darboe causing them concern?
Because that Usainu Darboe's position within the country, is what is really a threat to them. So it's not the age. But Peter, the profession I belong to, legal profession, you have to be sharp-minded.
True.
You have to be able to think fast on your feet.
True.
And at my age, alhamdulillah, I still think fast on my feet. So what do you need? I mean, an agile mind, not I don't. Youth. I think I have the greatest respect for the Gambian youths, but then not those in the category of President Barrow or those who think like President Barrow, because it shows some lack of maturity. And I'll tell you something. Perhaps whether a study but an opinion of some physicians that from age 50 to 60 you are okay, but 60 to 70 you are better. Above,
I'm in that bracket now.
And above 70 you are the best.
Wow.
Yeah, you are the best.
Can't believe that it's already 8:46. Yeah, this is going so well. I'm so enjoying it. Let's start taking text messages for Alhaji Usainu Darboe. Good morning, Uncle Peter. Please kindly ask your guest about the deportation of our brothers, which they said he signed during his tenure in office. Let's put this to bed once and for all.
Well, Peter, I have said this time and again that this is a malicious propaganda. First, they had said that it was when the German ambassador, the German president came to the Gambia, that I signed that deportation agreement with him. And lo and betide, when the German president was here, I was in Abidjan with Her Excellency Madam Fatoumata Tambajang Jallo Tambajang, attending the OIC, I think, high-level meeting. I was not in the Gambia. And afterwards, they turned around and released a video clip showing my Fati and Ambassador Lajos signing an agreement. So, and I've challenged them, look, you produce the document. As you said, my nemesis, I was in government. Let them produce the document. I have never signed any deportation agreement with any government or with any other institution. I have not.
Hi, Peter. Please ask Honorable Usainu Darboe if he agrees with the dictates of Code of Conduct for the Civil Service, which requires civil servants to, quote, demonstrate loyalty to the government of the day and to the country, and to serve with efficiency and industry, and to perform tasks honestly and conscientiously. This is in connection with the statement President Barrow made in the dismissal of non-loyal employees. We were just listening to it that there are people in the service sabotaging the government.
Well, yes, Peter, nobody can question the fact that, civil servants must be loyal to the government. But being loyal to the government doesn't mean you should be loyal to the ruling party. And this is the distinction. In fact, President Barrow says they do not support my party. So the questionnaire, the person who asked the question, yes, civil servants must be loyal to the government of the day. But there is no obligation on any civil servant to support the ruling party. And this is what President Barrow wants, that every civil servant must support the NPP, and they will not. The GO, as I said, allows every civil servant to belong to a political party of your choice. Our constitution, the freedom of which guarantees freedom of association, allows any citizen of the Gambia, including civil servants, to belong to any political party of their choice. But belonging to a political party of their choice doesn't mean that it has to be the ruling party.
What's your opinion on the Gambia's hosting of the OIC? Did we do a good job? Did we do a poor job? What?
Well, I think it was a great honor, and I don't know who I spoke to. I said, well, I'm happy that our president is now chairman of the OIC for the next 3 years, and honored that every Gambian shares in, and we can only pray and encourage him, really, to lead the organization for the next 3 years in a way that will make us, all of us, proud that leadership was handed over to him. But Peter, I wasn't happy because the level of representation was so low. And one thing that I found strikingly disappointing was that even President Tinubu did not attend. President Tinubu does not only belong to this region, but he also the chairman of ECOWAS. And I would have thought that he, as chairman of ECOWAS, would at least have come around and give President Barrow company, not for a few hours, but for these 2 days of the meeting. And together with President Barrow, maybe they could share ideas how much OIC could be of assistance or could be of relevance to the ECOWAS region. I expected that, and I was disappointed that he didn't come, and that the others, heads of state, also, I was disappointed that they didn't come. Look, Peter, if you convene a meeting of the UN, the United States President doesn't attend, France, UK, Germany, Russia, China. I mean, you'd say that, but what General Assembly, what General Session is this?
True.
So really, with the OIC, I expected that shouldn't be a level ambassador. In fact, one country ambassadorial level shouldn't be, and probably there wasn't much. I wouldn't say lobbying. You know.
I was going to ask, how is that linked probably to the country's foreign policy?
Well, I think really we should have done more to, not put pressure, but to make sure that the representation was high. I agree that the foreign ministers really should have done. I don't know what he did. Should have done quite a deal of visits, and not only that, but the president himself should have gone at least to few countries and talk to them so that they attend, and others to make telephone calls to them, occasionally make telephone calls to them. And of course, you do meet at some other meetings, international fora. The representatives of these of the countries that attend those meetings could talk to them and make them understand that this for us. In fact, when I was foreign minister, when I met the heads of state of some of these countries, I tell them that Gambia is just hosting this, but it's not our summit. So if there are any failures, it's a failure of the entire organization. So you must stand by Gambia. You must do everything to support Gambia in the hosting of this conference. And I think we should just be drumming that in the minds of the people, so that I was happy that there was this by on the site, the investment forum. I was happy with that.
Jointly organized by GAIPA.
By GAIPA, I think that was good. Maybe there should be follow-ups of that. I don't know what GAIPA and others are doing about that.
And what do you think of the use of resources? To buy 100 cars, for instance?
Well, well, I suppose it was all predicated on the level of representation they thought, that the number of people.
But it was okay to buy the cars.
Well, if all the people are gone, but you couldn't say what number of people expected, whether they will have that. But I'm not sure whether really we needed to buy all 100 cars. Maybe we could have bought few, and then ask the NAR to increase the number of vehicles that was being lent to us. I think we could have done that. Yes.
Please ask Mr. Darboe why the UDP fails to comment on religious intolerance towards the Christians, for example, the hijab issues in Christian schools, and refusal to allocate land for building of churches.
Well, I'm not aware of any refusal of land being allocated for building of churches. In fact, in the Jammeh era, I had said that, look, if you allow a mosque to be built as State House, if you have a Christian as president, would you reject him building a chapel at the State House? But I'm never aware of it, and certainly if any such thing should happen, then it's not right. I am on air. When Jammeh declared the Gambia as an Islamic Republic, I told my junior, Mrs. Mendy, Rachel Mendy, EC, I said, please tell Father Peter Gomez that if they gazette this thing, I'm going to take up the matter in court, because it's not right. On the hijab issue, maybe there was a comment, and I'm sure you saw the statement by Mr. Tombon Sedi, when there was some statement on it. So, Mr. Statement by Mr. Tombon Sedi.
The UDP Media and Communications Secretary.
Yes, he did make a statement on that.
So the UDP has issued a statement on the hijab.
Had you said a statement, and because in fact, our belief is that, look, the issue of uniforms should be a matter of the Minister of Education. You issue a statement or a rule that people have to comply with the uniform code in any particular school. Because I do not expect any Christian girl to attend Nusrat High School and not accepting
to veil themselves.
I do not expect that. So I do not expect also anyone going to St. Joseph's, say that by hook or by crook, you have to put on a veil. That is not acceptable.
Honorable Peter, can VP Darboe tell us if he, Mr. Darboe, UDP, Barrow and Coalition 2016, especially Tactical Alliance, apologize to Gambians for betraying the MOU reforms, diaspora franchisement, and 2017-2018 corruption?
Loaded.
Loaded, yes. Loaded.
Well, I think the bedrock of that question is the MOU.
Yes.
I really want to really see that MOU on the coalition. I really want to see it. People make these statements.
Even though you were in government, you never saw that MOU?
No.
I thought the argument was around: was it signed? Was it not signed?
No. That's what I'm. Look, I don't even see the draft. That's what I'm saying. The MOU, because you will have to have an MOU before you get into anything. Look, Peter, I believe that I was of course away, at Mr. Jammeh's hotel, 5-star hotel,
Sure.
But I would have thought that they already had a template, the 2006 NAD Alliance. That document for agreement, I think, was you are just supposed to just take out that, put names of the parties, the date, change the date, and so forth. Then you have everything from presidential elections to local government elections, all covered by that signed memorandum of understanding, and it will leave no room for anybody to say there is no such agreement or show me any agreement. But I do not even think that maybe people believe. I don't think those who are putting together this arrangement, I don't think they believed that Jammeh would be defeated. I don't think they believe so. More so with the candidate that was chosen, I don't think they believe so. So look, okay, let us just do this as a matter of formality, and people know that we've got together to do something. But I don't think I owe apology to anybody, and I stand by the position I took. You want to have one candidate in any constituency, just have one candidate for all the members of quote unquote the coalition. Do you have to be independent? Look, it will be outrageous for any party to try to put up a candidate in Upper Salem, and they want to deprive NRP, who has been in that constituency for all the time, in Lower Salem. I think it will be outrageous to make any suggestion. I think it will also be outrageous to suggest that in Woolley you should drop Sidia Jatta and put up a candidate from UDP. I think that would be outrageous. So we need to look at the areas where the party is stronger. You put a candidate in the name of that party, and you will get your one candidate in all the constituencies. And I even suggested that, look, let's like Joshua, you can leave it to GPDP, which didn't have, which was not tested, didn't have any place. That would have afforded GDPD an opportunity to have at least one member in the National Assembly. But they thought that, and in fact, the truth is that during the successor, somebody said, look, this is making UDP stronger, so we are not going to accept it. I said, well, if you think it's making UDP stronger, and you also want to make UDP weaker, we'll also not accept it. We'll go for tactical alliance.
Okay. When has it become a crime to make some political statements? Darboe made a lot of inconsistent statements in the past, and even threw jokes at the president in a political platform. Somebody suggesting the president has every right to come after you, whether in joke form or whatever.
Well, I like to be told when I have made such remarks about the president, that are demeaning. You can make jokes, but jokes that are demeaning, that is what is objectionable.
Good morning. Thank you for the big interview. I think Bamba Mas was embroiled in some form of a debacle, and I guess the Honorable Darboe recommended his appointment. I think this goes back to the issue about what's happening with diplomats in our various embassies around the world. And you suggested that, thank God, those you appointed, or those who were appointed under your watch, none of them was involved in any issues. Apparently Bamba Mas was.
Well, I'm certainly not aware. Certainly I'm not aware. And if I was aware, I would have said, except for Mr. A, because I am always quite frank with what I say. If there was any, I would say, of course, this, that, and that, except for that. Yeah. So I'm not aware if Bamba Mas was, and certainly if he was, I'd like to be told what sort of thing he was involved in that is scandalous, that has really put Gambia's reputation at stake.
Interestingly, another text message just coming in. Can you ask Mr. Darboe about the unprofessional conduct of his selected ambassador and his deputy fighting in Morocco, an embarrassing situation leading to the recall of both diplomats? Consistency matters in politics.
Well, again, you say the ambassador. I never recommended the ambassador. President Adama Barrow handpicked him. Yeah, he handpicked him because of some reason which I should not say in public. He told me the reason why he did so. I never, Mr. Jammeh of blessed memory, I didn't select him. Yeah.
Okay. And just finally, a suggestion was also made that the NPP has already settled on its candidate, but the UDP has yet to settle on a candidate for 2026. What's the issue about deciding who is going to be the flag bearer in 2026?
For UDP?
For UDP, yes.
Well, this is not the time for UDP to select a flag bearer. When the time is an election year, that we select our flag bearer. Yeah.
So we won't know before 2026?
Well, we won't know before 2026. What is certain is that, I am the leader of the United Democratic Party for now. And,
for now?
For now, and hopefully I continue to be leader of the United Democratic Party until 2026.
Is there a special message in the statement for now?
No, for now, because I think we have to be philosophical about some of these things, Peter. Man is transient.
True.
So when I say for now, when I step out of this studio, something could befall me.
God forbid.
Yeah, God forbid. That is why I say for now.
Yeah.
That's why I say for now. That is why every time I pray to God that continue to give me good health and longer life. Yeah. But then you have to, when you make some statement, you don't have to be, you don't have to be, divine. That yes, it is this. No, that is only, those divine, decisions or things is with the Almighty. Because of my transient nature, I say for now, I am the leader of the United Democratic Party. And of course, apart from things befalling me, the party can convene an extraordinary Congress and remove me if I put the party in disgrace, if I behave in a way that is unexpected of me. So we should just, and when I say this because, I do not say that, I am wedded to the leadership of the United Democratic Party until death do us part.
No, it seems like that. Alhaji Usainu, thank you very much for coming. Just finally, there are many on the other side who are listening. How would you like to bring this conversation to an end? Either with a special message to Gambians in general, home and abroad, or a special message to those in power right now, or a special message to the UDP. Why not even a special message to NPP?
Well, Peter, I think it will be a special message to every Gambian, and that includes the President. We all have the responsibility of ensuring that this society, this country is stable. Every season there's a burden on all of us. But the greatest burden is on the President, because he has been entrusted with responsibility of steering the affairs of this country, and that includes the maintenance of peace. That includes making statements or doing things that will promote stability in this country. That whatever we do, we should really phantom in it justice. That you treat me with justice, you treat me justly. Because once you deny me what I justly own, my reaction would be otherwise. And I implore every Gambian that let us all go about in whatever activities that we are engaged in. Do so peacefully and do so abiding by the law. My UDP supporters, I have told you since 1996 that, you must be law-abiding. And it is because we are law-abiding, that is why we have come to this stage. We do not want no member of UDP should give an opportunity to our opponents to really paint us in a way that looks ugly. And we can only do so if we abide by the law. Of course, we will go on with our political activities, and we expect also others to go on with their political activities in a lawful manner, and that anything that is provocative, they should avoid it. And we ask all our supporters to avoid anything that is provocative, because that is what we need. I have always told my supporters that we do not want a situation where a state of emergency will be declared in this country, and then the other side is given the opportunity to go about doing their political activities in the guise of performing official duties. The President has just gone on a tour in the guise of really opening hospitals and so forth, which is official duty, but of course, he's doing a lot of party politics in it. In fact, 75% of it is all party politics. And that brings me to think that it's really great that we see hospital, a clinic or hospital in Farafenye, named after Sheriff Mustafa Diba. One in Tumana, named after Hassan Musa Kamara. 2 former vice presidents of this country. 2 great Gambians, 2 great citizens of this country. But Peter, that is not the way to honor those gentlemen. What they stood for, the values they stood for, that is what you should uphold. Naming buildings after them is just optics. The greatest honor to their memory is really to fight corruption. The greatest honor to their memory is really to fight cronyism. The greatest honor to their memory is really to be of service to the nation. That is what would be the greatest honor to them. You can imagine Sir Fudiba, when there was a debate in the National House of Representatives, when he took on the government on the issue of corruption. That is what, if the current government does that, then we're doing great honor to Sir Fudiba. If you want to be of service to a nation like Hassan Musa Kamara, humble, and be of service to people, then you'll be doing honor to the country.
Uphold the values.
Uphold their values. That, I think, should be the greatest honor to them, rather than edifice to them with when you are engaged in things that really shake them in their griefs.
Alhaji Hussainu, thank you very much for the honor.
You're welcome.